Welcome to Sleepy Philosophy. Tonight we step quietly into the world of René Descartes and his famous question, how can we ever be sure that we are awake and not just dreaming? René Descartes was a philosopher who lived in 17th century France. He spent much of his life asking deep questions about what we can truly know and how we can tell the difference between appearance and reality. Descartes was curious about the world and about his own thoughts. He wondered how much of what we experience each day is certain, and how much might be an illusion. One night, as he reflected on his own experiences, Descartes began to question the nature of dreams. He realized that when we are dreaming, everything often feels as real and vivid as when we are awake. The sights, sounds, and feelings in dreams can be so convincing that we might not know we are dreaming until we wake up. This simple idea, that our senses can sometimes deceive us and that dreams can seem just as real as waking life, became a central part of Descartes' thinking. He began to wonder, how can we ever be completely sure that we are not dreaming right now? And if our senses can sometimes trick us, what can we truly trust? Take a moment to settle in. Imagine a quiet room at night. The air still and gentle, with only the softest sounds in the distance. Outside, the world is peaceful and dim, shadows moving slowly across the floor. The gentle hush of evening wraps around you like a warm blanket. In this quiet space, your thoughts can drift freely. There's no need to rush or solve anything. You are simply here, listening, letting ideas flow in and out like the steady rhythm of your breath. As you rest in this calm, open place, let your mind become curious and relaxed, ready to explore the boundaries between waking and dreaming, certainty and wonder. René Descartes was born in France in 1596, a time of great change and discovery in Europe. The world was opening up with new ideas about science, mathematics, and philosophy. People were beginning to question old beliefs and look for new ways to understand themselves and the universe. Descartes was a thoughtful and curious person, often seeking quiet places to reflect and write. He studied law and mathematics, but it was philosophy that drew his attention most deeply. Descartes wanted to know what could be trusted beyond all doubt and how we can be sure about what is real. Living through a period filled with uncertainty and new possibilities, Descartes brought a spirit of careful questioning and deep curiosity to every part of his life. His ideas would go on to influence not just philosophy, but the way people approach knowledge and truth even today. Descartes was deeply interested in the nature of knowledge. He wondered how we can know anything for sure, and what it really means to be certain of something. While most people trusted their senses and the world around them, Descartes questioned whether our senses always tell us the truth. He noticed that things are not always as they seem. A stick looks bent in water, or a dream can feel real until we wake up. He wanted to find a foundation for knowledge that could not be doubted. This search led him to carefully examine his own beliefs, setting aside anything that might be uncertain or mistaken. Descartes believed that by questioning everything, even things that seem obvious, he could discover something solid and reliable at the heart of all our experiences. His curiosity about certainty was not just about philosophy, it was about finding peace of mind in a world where so much is unknown. This careful approach to doubt and questioning became one of the most important parts of Descartes' thinking. Dreams are a familiar part of life for almost everyone. At night, as you fall asleep, your mind sometimes weaves together stories and images that can feel just as real as anything you experience when you are awake. In dreams, you might walk through places you have never seen, meet people who seem lifelike, or feel strong emotions, joy, fear, or even surprise. While you are dreaming, the sights and sounds can be vivid and convincing. You might smell the rain, taste sweet fruit, or hear voices calling your name. Sometimes you only realize it was a dream after you wake up and notice that the details do not quite make sense, or the story slips away like mist. Because dreams can feel so real in the moment, it's sometimes hard to tell the difference between dreaming and waking while you are inside them. This is one of the reasons Descartes became so curious about the nature of reality. If our dreams can be so convincing, how can we be sure that our waking experiences are any different? Descartes began to wonder about the line between dreaming and waking. If dreams can seem so real, how can we know for sure when we are truly awake? In the middle of a dream, everything feels normal and believable, but when you wake up, you realize it was all imagined. This led Descartes to ask a simple but powerful question. Is it possible that what we think is waking life could also be a kind of dream? He realized that if our senses can sometimes fool us when we are asleep, maybe they could also deceive us when we are awake. Descartes did not ask this question to create confusion, but to explore what we can truly rely on. He wanted to know if there was anything in our experience that is beyond doubt, something we can trust even when we are unsure whether we are dreaming or awake. Waking up from a dream can sometimes feel mysterious. There are moments when the colors and feelings of a dream still linger, even as you open your eyes to the real world. You might remember the sound of distant voices, the touch of soft rain, or the feeling of floating through the air, details that slowly fade as you become more aware of your surroundings. Sometimes you wake with a sense of confusion, not sure if what you just experienced was real or imagined. The lines between dreaming and waking can blur for a few moments. The familiar objects in your room come into focus, and the world of the dream slips away quietly. As you adjust, you realize you are truly awake, but the memory of the dream might stay with you for a while, like a shadow at the edge of your thoughts. This gentle transition between dreaming and waking is something everyone experiences. It shows how easily our senses can be fooled, and how convincing our own minds can be when we are caught between worlds. If you listen to the episode about Zhuangzi and the butterfly dream, you might remember how the line between dreams and waking life can be mysterious and unclear. Zhuangzi wondered whether he was a man who had dreamed of being a butterfly, or a butterfly now dreaming he was a man. This gentle puzzle shows up in many philosophies around the world, inviting us to question what is real and what might simply be the product of our dreaming minds. Descartes, in his own way, was asking a similar question. How do we know with certainty that we are truly awake? These stories remind us that the boundary between dream and reality is sometimes much thinner than we think. Both Zhuangzi and Descartes were fascinated by the mysteries of dreams and reality. Even though they lived in different times and cultures, each wondered whether our ordinary experiences could actually be part of a dream. Zhuangzi's butterfly dream leaves us with the question, how can we be sure who we really are, or whether we are awake or still dreaming? Descartes asked a similar question, noticing that dreams can feel as real as anything we experience while awake. He wondered if there was any way to tell the difference with complete certainty. Both thinkers invite us to consider how easily our senses can be fooled, and how reality might sometimes be less solid than it seems. By comparing these two perspectives, we see that the question of what is real is not just a puzzle for philosophers, but something that everyone can relate to. It reminds us to look at our own experiences with curiosity, to notice the times when things feel uncertain, and to accept that not everything is as clear as it appears. Both Zhuangzi and Descartes recognize that there is a deep uncertainty at the heart of human experience. Whether we are dreaming or awake, it is sometimes difficult to know for sure what is truly real. In dreams, everything feels convincing until we wake up and realize it was only imagined. But even in waking life, our senses and memories can sometimes mislead us. This shared theme of uncertainty invites us to be humble about what we know. It shows that our minds are powerful and creative, able to build whole worlds, sometimes while we sleep, and sometimes while we are wide awake. By noticing this uncertainty, we can become more thoughtful and gentle with ourselves and others, realizing that everyone experiences moments of doubt and wonder. Descartes wanted to find out if there was anything he could know for certain, even if he doubted everything else. He imagined that at any moment he could be dreaming and that nothing around him might be real. The sights and sounds he experienced, the warmth of the fire, the feel of his own hands, could all be part of a very convincing dream. To test his ideas, Descartes asked himself to question every belief he held, even the ones that seemed obvious. Could he trust his senses? Not always, since dreams often feel real until we wake up. Could he rely on the world around him? Not completely, because sometimes our minds can trick us. In this thought experiment, Descartes decided to doubt everything that could possibly be doubted, just to see what would remain. He realized that while he could question almost everything, the simple act of doubting and thinking proved that he existed as a thinking being. Even if he was dreaming, he was still having thoughts. This idea became one of Descartes' most famous insights and helped him build a foundation for all his later philosophy. The uncertainty between dreaming and reality is something everyone experiences at some point. In the quiet moments just after waking, you might still feel the emotions or remember the scenes from your dreams, and it can take a while to be sure that you are truly awake. Descartes realized that because dreams can be so vivid and lifelike, there is always a chance that what we take for reality might not be as certain as we think. This uncertainty can feel unsettling, but it also encourages us to look more closely at our own experiences. By asking how we know what is real, we become more aware of how our senses and thoughts shape our understanding of the world. Descartes used this question to look for something solid, some truth that would hold steady, whether he was awake or dreaming. Not knowing with absolute certainty if we are dreaming or awake can remind us to approach life with curiosity and openness. It is a gentle invitation to notice the details of the present moment, to trust our experience while also remembering that not everything is always as it seems. Take a moment to think about your own dreams and the times you have woken up still feeling the emotions or images from the night. Can you remember a dream that felt so real you were surprised when you woke up? Or a morning when it took a little while to be sure you were really awake? These experiences are reminders of how powerful and convincing our minds can be, whether we are asleep or awake. If you like, you can pause and notice the room around you now, the light, the sounds, the feeling of your breath. Notice how real everything seems, and also how gentle the line is between waking and dreaming. Reflecting on these moments can help you appreciate both the mystery and the beauty of your own experience. It is an invitation to be curious about your thoughts and perceptions, and to approach each new day with a sense of wonder. Descartes' journey through doubt was not meant to leave him feeling lost or uncertain forever. His goal was to discover if there was anything that could not be doubted, no matter what. He wanted to find a foundation for knowledge that would be strong and unshakable, even if every other belief turned out to be mistaken. To do this, Descartes has decided to set aside everything he could possibly question. He doubted his senses, his memories, and even the existence of the world around him. But as he did this, he realized there was one thing he could not doubt: the fact that he was thinking and questioning at all. Even if everything else was an illusion, the simple act of thinking was proof that he existed as a thinking being. This idea, "I think, therefore I am," became the starting point for all of Descartes' later philosophy. It was his way of showing that, even in the middle of uncertainty, it is possible to find something solid and real to hold on to. Finding certainty is not always easy in a world where our perceptions can change from moment to moment. Descartes noticed that what we see, hear, or feel can often be influenced by our emotions, memories, or even the time of day. Sometimes things that seem obvious turn out to be mistaken, and experiences that feel real in one moment can seem distant or unclear in another. This challenge made Descartes wonder if there is anything we can truly rely on. He realized that while our senses are useful, they are not always perfectly accurate. Dreams, illusions, and misunderstanding can all make us question what is real. Even our most familiar surroundings can seem different in the light of a new day or in the depths of a vivid dream. Despite these challenges, Descartes continued to search for something certain, a truth that would not change no matter how much the world around him shifted. His journey reminds us that it is natural to question, and that looking for certainty can help us understand ourselves and the world more deeply. Questioning reality does not mean we have to doubt everything or feel lost. Instead, it can be a gentle way of being curious about the world and our place in it. When we ask ourselves what is real and what might only be a dream, we begin to look at our experiences with fresh eyes. Descartes' questions encourage us to pay attention to the details of each moment. We might notice the feeling of the air on our skin, the sound of quiet in the room, or the way light moves across the floor. By being open to the possibility that things are not always as they seem, we become more aware, thoughtful, and even a bit more humble about what we know. Questioning reality can help us appreciate both the certainty and the mystery of life. It is not about finding all the answers, but about being willing to notice, to wonder, and to accept that some things may always remain uncertain. In this gentle spirit of curiosity, we can find a quiet sense of comfort and possibility. Descartes' questions about dreams and reality are not just for philosophers, they show up in our everyday lives too. There are times when we are unsure about what we see or remember, when we wonder if we misunderstood something or imagined a detail. Sometimes we look back at an old memory and realize it feels almost like a dream, blurred at the edges and hard to pin down. Moments of uncertainty are a natural part of life. They remind us that our minds are always working to make sense of the world, even if we do not always have perfect information. Just as Descartes questioned what he could truly know, we can learn to accept and even appreciate the moments when things are not completely clear. By noticing these everyday uncertainties, we can approach life with a little more patience and openness. Instead of feeling frustrated or confused, we can be gentle with ourselves, trusting that it is okay not to have all the answers right away. Living with curiosity and openness means welcoming questions rather than fearing them. Instead of feeling unsettled by what we do not know, we can allow ourselves to wonder and explore. When we approach life with gentle curiosity, every day becomes an opportunity to learn, to notice something new, and to grow in understanding. Openness invites us to listen to others, to be willing to see things from different perspectives, and to accept that our own view is only one part of a much bigger picture. It means making room for mystery and uncertainty, and finding comfort in not having everything figured out. This way of living does not require us to have all the answers. Instead, it invites us to enjoy the journey of discovery, to be kind to ourselves when we are unsure, and to trust that being curious is its own kind of wisdom. There is a quiet comfort in accepting that we do not have to know everything. Life is full of questions that may never have final answers, and that is perfectly okay. Descartes' journey reminds us that uncertainty is a natural part of being human. By letting go of the need for complete certainty, we make space for peace and rest. We allow ourselves to enjoy the present moment without pressure or worry. Sometimes not knowing is a gentle invitation to slow down, to breathe, and to simply notice what is around us. Embracing this comfort means being patient with ourselves and with others. It means understanding that the search for answers is valuable, but so is the ability to sit quietly with mystery. In this gentle acceptance, we find calm, and we discover that life can be beautiful, even when not everything is clear. As our thoughts settle, let the quiet questions linger a little longer. The line between dreaming and waking, certainty and wonder, is gentle and ever shifting. Descartes invites us not to fear uncertainty, but to let it be a gentle companion, reminding us to pay attention, to notice the mystery, and to rest in the space where answers are not always needed. As you drift toward sleep, allow yourself to enjoy the comfort of curiosity. Let the story linger in your mind, and let yourself rest in the gentle possibility that not everything must be solved tonight. Let go of any pressure to have all the answers. Instead, enjoy the gentle wonder of not knowing, and notice how much possibility lives in each new question. The world is full of mysteries, and it is okay to meet them with curiosity and an open heart. May you find comfort in uncertainty and carry a sense of peace with you as you drift into rest.